We are going to do exercise 2, where we try to find the next term in the sequence. And maybe that's a geometric sequence or an arithmetic sequence. If it's a geometric sequence, then each term would be multiplied by the same ratio, and we'd have a pattern with the existing terms to figure out the next term. So, for instance, if 9 divided by 16 equals 0.5625, then for this to be a geometric sequence, 2 divided by 9 would have to be equal to the same thing, which it's not, so rule that out. Then we have an arithmetic sequence where it would have a common difference as opposed to a common ratio. We have 16 minus 9 is 7. If you don't believe me, 16 minus 9 equals 7. Presto. 9 minus 2, we know is 7. And we also know that 2 minus -5 is 7, because that's a minus a negative. 2 minus -5 equals 7. And then -5 minus 7 should equal -12. Yep. So we can say with perfect acuity that the next term is -12. If I could just get my surface pen to work. -12. Okay. Two different surface pens. One has no battery life. Okay, next thing I'm going to make this nice and big so I have enough room. F of -3 for f of x equals -2x plus 5. So that's f of -3 equals -2 times -3. Replacing the x with the -3 plus 5. -2 times -3 is +6. Plus 5 equals 11. Now watch your sign, just because if we had omitted the negative for 3, -3, and we did +3 instead of -2, then -2 times 3 is -6. -6 plus 5 would be -1, which would be A. But the answer is D, not A. D for delta, not A for alpha. Next, evaluate the expression of the absolute value of 3x minus 1. So 3, and where x equals -2 minus 1. Okay, so -3 times +3. Right. 3 almost looked like a negative. 3 times -2 is -6, negative, so it is a negative this time. 1 positive, 1 negative. 3 times -2 is -6. -6 minus 1 is -7. Boom. Absolute value of -7 is just, think of it as the total distance between 0 and -7 is 7. So the answer is B for Bravo. And then calculate the rate of change for the given table of values. And we're going to do the sloped formula for that, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Notice, however, with this one, pretty simple. If we eyeball it, we can see that it is an arithmetic sequence with a common difference, just like problem 2, because 75 minus 50 is 25, right? 75 cents, 3/4. And, you buy something, you have 2 quarters left over, you know that you spent 1 quarter, 25 cents. 75 minus 25 is 50. 100 minus 75 is 25. 125 minus 100 is 25. However, let's do this because you don't always see it so clearly. I don't always clearly see it so clearly. And then I'm going to do 75 and 50 as that's my y2, y2, y1, x1, x2. So 75 minus 50. 75 minus 50 and 3 minus 2. Okay. Make a better 5 here. Okay, 75 minus 50 is 25. 3 minus 2 is 1. So we just have 25. 25 divided by 1 is still 25. So the slope, the rate of change, is 25. And then we're just going to cap this off with problem 6. We want to calculate the rate of change, the slope for the given line. I'm going to find 2 nice clean points where I have an integer that's like a whole number, whether I don't want to have to slice anything up if I don't have to. So y-intercept there over here is where x, and I'm going to say input instead of x, input, and the input is 0. The output is 1. And then over here, where the input is 2 on the x-axis, the output is -2. -2. And then remember y2 minus y1. So I'm just going to say that -2 is my y2. All right. And that's my y2 is 1. So -2 minus 1, and then 2 minus 0. So that's -2 minus 1 is -3. -3 divided by 2 minus 1. 0 is 2. So let's see down here. If I go down 3, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. Go across 2, that's where I landed. That makes sense. Just to double check. And then I went down 3 this way. So I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. Go across 1. Is that 3? 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then over 2. Yep, that makes sense. So the answer is slope equals -3 over 2. Or you can think of it as say 2 times 1 is 2 minus 1. So it could also be 1.5 or -1.5 or just -1.5. So presto, that is the answer. It's -1.5.